We're gonna do a song that you never heard before. The volume.
Hear the drummer get wicked. Here we go again.
It's Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What's good, bro?
Hey man, I got a rip. Whoa, snap! Mic issues all kind of crazy over there. I got a question for you though, man.
What's up?
If I get my mic situation situated over here. Um, my question for you is this though, bro. I had recently saw that Jaxon Dart
Mm-hmm.
had gave the introduction for Donald Trump
Mm-hmm.
at I don't know if it was a Trump rally. I don't know what it was though, bro. Right? My question for you is this though, man. If you were a teammate of his and seeing that in his introduction that he spoke very glowingly of the president, mentioning that it was his absolute privilege to announce him in New York, for this particular rally. If you're a teammate of his, though, bro, what's your position on that?
Simple. Just have a conversation with him, and then after that, it still work. Still your job.
So let me ask you this though. So even with that being said, though, right, it's work. Does that change your view on him socially?
Nope. I got people I work with that voted in that direction. So that's a different, like I said, we have conversations. So that's what it is. It's like now that things are in motion and promises were broken and this, that, and the other, then what are the conversations like now? Because if you wanted to tell me that you went into it with expectations of this is what was promised and whoop whoop whoop, then that's one thing. And so like I said, you have a conversation, but at the end of the day, even though you playing football, it's still your job. So you still got to go out there and do your job. Huh?
I think that for me, um I think that for me, the biggest thing that I would take issue with,
Mm-hmm.
right, isn't so much the work relationship part of things, though, right? I think that the part that I would have an issue with is socially. Like if I was him, like Jaxon, I'm gonna tell you this. Jaxon to me he comes across, and I could be very wrong in this one, but he seems to me very listen, shout out to y'all that's on the YouTube, by the way, via the Twitch though, man, going live out there. Appreciate y'all for checking in. But I think that he kind of comes across like my boy Joe Burrow, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like if I saw Joe Burrow up there, it would change how I view Joe Burrow a lot, though, man. It's like Joe Burrow was one of them guys where black folks were like, oh, you know what? He get the invite to the cookout, right? And then
Right.
it's just like, all right, you up there now, and it's just like I got to take my invite back at that case, though, bro, because then
Yeah,
it's
but
like
I mean, at
I
the
don't
same
know if
time,
you
though,
are or what I thought you are.
but what did we think he was? He just fresh out of college, really. And then on top of that, it's
Well,
just one of those things. It's like I would rather know who voted in what direction versus not.
I feel
So
that.
for
I think
me, go ahead.
I feel that he is on camera saying some of my ninjas, right? In back in his college days. So, and it was around his black friends and I think that the black players. And my thing is that when you go there to me and you get this acceptance, basically that, oh, okay, now you kind of cool like that. You ain't getting a pass, right? But somebody had gave him the pass. Somebody had to feel strongly enough. And so then when you go that way, I feel like you was hitting us with the okie doke. You was hitting somebody with the okie doke. And if I'm a teammate of his, it is a conversation that to me, I think that you gotta I think that it's one of those things where I think that you at least we gotta have a conversation, and that conversation will also determine how I move with you socially. We can still have
Yeah,
a good
but
working relationship, and that's fine. But socially, that might be different for me.
yeah, but some people just keep it work status when it comes to football. Like they want to win, they want to win a game, and they ain't got nothing to do with your politics, winning the game. So, like you said, socially, when we get off the field, I ain't got to communicate with you. I ain't got to do this. I ain't got to do that. But when it comes time on the field, I get paid for the job that I do. So it's the same thing, like I said, with me at my job. You know what I'm saying? I I can choose how I move with that person individually, but when it comes to work related stuff, I got to get the job done. So that's kind of how I would look at it from the standpoint that, you know, again, have a conversation, find out what's why it is the way it is with him individually, but ultimately not a big deal to me.
You know how I feel about it, low key,
What's that?
especially since I see the shirt you wear, which is fly, by the way.
Appreciate it.
I think it would be. I would almost feel like if Chet got up there and said, hey, I want to go ahead and I'm proud to announce. It would feel like that. He gives me that vibes. That's what I'm saying. Like he gave me that. He gave me Chet Holmgren kind of vibes,
Well, see, my thing
Cooper
is
Flag kind of vibes.
right, but to me, Chet has always been an ally. So I've
Hey,
not known.
okay,
Okay, but
yeah, I
see,
agree with you. I agree with
right,
you.
but
The
I
fact
don't
that, but
know. I
nor do
don't
we
know
think that
Jackson Dart
about
like
him.
that. Hmm?
Yeah, but see, Jackson Dart. See, that's the thing about it. So Jackson Dart. This is the thing about it. He's from Utah. I'm not gonna say that has some like, oh, that's it. But he's from Utah, right? He went to Ole Miss. And I think that the other part about it is that it generally speaking though, right? I think that the issue why this looks like such a touchy thing though, right, is that for a leader of this country to be so very divisive, right? And now you're saying, oh, okay, well, you know what? I'm aligning myself with him. It's like to me, I always say when you vote for him and you vote in favor of him, though, man, you are supporting everything that you know about him. You can't just pick and choose a certain pieces of it, though, man. It's all the same.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's interesting, though, man. I think that I think that it could be one of those things where I think that it could be very divisive, though, man. Though, but
No,
yeah. I saw
I
that just
do
pop
think
up
it
here
could
recently.
be. I do think it can be divisive, but I also think in order to have a great working relationship, you're gonna have to have a conversation at the end of the day. You need to have a
Very true.
conversation to find out where it's at. And again, he's doing this off duty. He ain't at work. He ain't doing it from Giant Stadium. He ain't wearing his. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he wore, but I'm saying I would
He said
assume he
go
wasn't
big
wearing.
blue at the end too, though. Yeah, he
No,
said go
well,
big blue. Yeah. So I don't know, but I thought it was interesting though, bro, because I just sit there and thought about that in terms of like, even if we were talking about basketball, like basketball to me is probably one of the more progressive sports in terms of politics and social stances and everything like that, though, bro. And I would just be I always wonder how much of a difference it would be if we saw that in basketball. I think that I don't think that you can come back from it in basketball though, bro.
yeah.
Let's get that music though, man. We got some things to talk about.
Let's get it.
I don't hear the music, by the way. Yeah. So we got a few things we got to get into today, though, man. So we got to talk about this James Hart. I'm not gonna call it the James Hart. So we got a couple things to talk about. So we talking about Knicks going to the finals, first time in 30 something years. Of course, New York is all over the place, though, man. We also got to look into what these what this Spurs and Thunder series is starting to look like, though, man. It's tied on up. And I think that it kind of looks, I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get a little nervous about it though, bro. Very nervous about it though, bro. But it's still I'm very curious though, man, if that's changed the outlooks for the predictions here on who's gonna do what though, man. So yeah. It should be something interesting though, bro.
We back. Let's get this music popping.
Let's do it.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you
of all time.
smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages, and also our new Twitch page as well, along with our TikTok pages. We are live on all platforms at the same time at 7 o'clock EST, 6 o'clock CST. You click on the notification, click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys doing their thing. Ace Kennedy. Oh, and by the way, shout out to also that is dropping their head into this podcast as well. Fun size Nigerian queen. I don't know you, but that's an incredible
Incredible
an
name.
incredible handle. It's an incredible name. Probably incredible. Fun size Nigerian queen. What up?
Hold on, we got to get the hand clap for that one.
Yes, sir. Let's get it, bro.
What's up, man?
Are you nervous about this Spurs Thunder series? Going back to OKC tied 2-2.
I can't be nervous because the Thunder have proven that they can win. It's 2-2. So it's 0-0's the first 1 to 2 games. All Oklahoma has to do is win at home. And so that's where I am going to trust that the team is going to do whatever it takes to get to where they need to get. San Antonio is a streaky team. They are very capable of winning this series. It's not to be taken lightly. So there's always the possibility, but I got to trust that we're going to take care of home. I understand that we did lose at home on the first game, but I just, hey, this is where the MVP got to be MVP.
Hey, listen, so I do have a question for you, though, man. Does that change when you say the MVP got to be the MVP? With AJ Mitchell, your second leading scorer in these playoffs so far, and J-Dub down, though, man, does that change? I know that it's usually next man up for OKC.
No, that's
does
not
that change the approach?
Does not change at all because AJ hasn't scored well in the Spurs. AJ scored well with the Lakers. He didn't do well with the Spurs. Honestly, who's been clutch is AC, Alex Caruso, and also Jared McCain, J Mac has got to step up. And then, of course, we got to see Chet at one point in time. I like the fact that, the media wants Chet to face Alien, and that's not what Oklahoma wants. So I'm glad that we're just doing us. I want Hart to stay on Alien and let Chet finally, have a great game. So he's got to have a bounce back game. Who else? And then it's not so much that cast. I need, we beat San Antonio in San Antonio because our bench scored 73 points. And we need that again from the bench. We gotta have a game where oh my gosh, can't think of my boy's name. Oh, what is my boy's name? Saves basketball. Oh my gosh. Aaron Wiggins saves basketball. Aaron Wiggins got to show up. We need Queso to have a bigger game. And I like that they put in Kenrich. Kenrich was balling last game, but he couldn't do it. He hit like 2 or 3 threes. So the cast of the Thunder has to show up, and we just got to limit Vassell. We got to limit Castle, and we got to limit Brown. And so we just gotta do what we do. We gotta lock in on defense. We gotta be more physical. Just the typical
the typical things. The end result is the Thunder have to play Thunder basketball. That's it. If we do what we normally have been doing this whole season, we'll be okay.
I think that they absolutely have to win this game, though, bro. I
It
think
is
that to me,
absolute. Yeah,
yeah, it is. I think that to me, I think that whoever wins this game wins the series, though, bro. And it
100%.
could very well be that let's say the Spurs win in OKC and then they go on to win it at the crib. It could be that OKC wins this game, they go back to the Spurs. Let's say they lose, they come back to OKC. I'm picking them to win. But whoever wins this game wins the whole thing, though, bro.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
I
very
believe
pivotal game, though, man. I think it's crucial.
Now, on the flip side of that coin, Eastern Conference, clean sweep.
Listen, man. I know that I think that I saw Max Kellerman said having James Harden on your team to help win you a championship is like having this president to save your country or something to that effect. And listen, I told you that the minute that I saw that they traded for him, it's a wrap for them. They out of there. And listen, the bad part about it is this, though. I told you that he was trying to disappear in the Detroit season, in the Detroit series on the last couple of games, though, right? And I think that the thing that's crazy to me is that, like, it feels to me very much like I could be, like I said, I said this before. It feels like he is trying his best not to be the reason that they lose. So he doesn't play as aggressive. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't. He's trying to hurry up and get the ball out of his hand. And maybe it's like, don't get me wrong. I know that he runs point guard and he does a lot of sets up and everything like that. But it feels like his aggression is zero. And I think that the part that really got me the most is after the game. He made a comment or something like, "Yeah, I thought I did. I thought I played well. I thought I did fine." I'm thinking like, what? It's just and part of me just wonders, like, is he defending himself or does he realistically believe that that's how he played
No,
out there,
no.
though, bro?
And
It's just
players know, bro.
you gotta know you played like ass,
no,
bro.
he know. And this is how much he know, because he also made a comment just recently that he is willing to do whatever it takes to help the Cavs win next year.
What is he gonna do? Like, what? This is
Take
my
less
thing.
money.
What can he do? What is it? So this is that is a question I
Take,
have for you.
take less
What
money.
can James Harden?
Take less money to bring LeBron out there.
You think that's what? Listen, man.
Because
Yeah.
here's the thing. This is why I say that. Let me give you the reason why. We know that regular season Harden is phenomenal. And playoff Harden is not. So what you're doing by taking less money to get LeBron out there, what you're essentially doing is just putting LeBron on your back to get him to the playoffs, and then he will carry you on. That's the only way James Harden's gonna win the ring, if he has somebody available, because then you got Donovan Mitchell to deal with and LeBron. And I think that combination, along with having James as the third option, then you're okay. Because I think
James don't need to be the third option, bro. He needs to be like the fourth option.
I agree, because
Mobley,
I think Evan Mobley should be the third option, to be honest. But I'm just saying to not having him, because right now he was slated to be the second option and he wasn't there. So all I'm saying is, as long as you just have regular season James help them get to the playoffs and good seeding, and then LeBron take it from there. That's what I'm basically trying to say.
I'm gonna tell you this for the record. At 7:20 p.m. EST on May 26th, right? In front of this here Twitch audience and in front of this here YouTube, and for anybody who's watching the replay, if LeBron James goes back to Cleveland and wins a championship in his final season, y'all can get out of my face by saying this man ain't the GOAT. It's clear with that feat, because that means he'll either, one of two things will happen. He will either he would have to run through the Eastern Championship, Eastern Conference Championship, either, and that could be it's going to be the Knicks. They could very well win, and I'm not rooting for them at all. But either way, he's going to go through a champion to win it if he does. So that means that in a climate where Shea is a back-to-back MVP, Wemby is the defensive player of the year, and it was a unanimous. And let's just say hypothetically, if OKC wins or if the Spurs win, for LeBron James to win a championship and take it back to Cleveland for a second time going back to Cleveland, right? For what it would take for him to win the championship, bro. And that means that he would be carrying James Harden, right? He's going to carry James Harden. And I tell you, any team with James Harden is out of there. But if LeBron James can win a championship with James Harden when no one could, though, bro, greatest of all time. I already have him as my personal GOAT. But that is too much resume in one final season for me to deny that, bro. Very easy. I don't want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what I think about LeBron James as the GOAT, and I won't even listen to nobody else as an option of being the GOAT. Michael Jordan, Steph Curry. I don't want to hear nothing.
And that's why I let you just say all that by yourself, because you ain't gonna hear me tell you nothing, because I don't care what you say. Like I said, LeBron would literally have to get his daughter and his son and his wife on the team, and they all win the championship together in order for him to be the GOAT over Michael Jordan.
And they sued him up. So LeBron, if LeBron got Savannah, if LeBron came out in year 30 and he got the little mama and Savannah. Savannah's also gonna be 40-something years old. I mean, she's gonna be 50 years old for that to happen. So if LeBron James get a 50-year-old Savannah, and by then Bryce would be 20-something years old. 20, Bryce would be what, 26 years old or 28 years old. Bronny would be pushing 30, right? So you got an elderly LeBron, a mid-20s Bryce, a mid-20s Bronny. The little mama is going to be 18 years old probably. And Savannah coming off the bench. And he do that. And that's going to get you LeBron James as the GOAT status.
Yeah, that's the only way. If
that's
that
the only way.
That's the only way.
That would be if he wins next year. He got to go into retirement, come out of retirement, right? And if anybody can do it, it's LeBron.
Yeah.
Phenomenal shape. Can.
But that's what it would take. Otherwise, I ain't trying to hear what you're trying to say about LeBron. Like, I listen. This is my only comment toward the conversation of the GOAT. LeBron, Kobe, Michael Jordan, whoever you consider in your conversation. I don't have to diminish another player in order to elevate another player. So if people love LeBron, I like LeBron a lot. But he just, for me, forever, he just won't be over Jordan. And I'm okay with that. But that doesn't mean I'm diminishing the accomplishments that he's done. I think LeBron has taken over, shown longevity, like he is kicking Father Time in the face. You know what I'm saying? Has he lost a step? Yeah, but he is still one of the top players in the NBA at his age, and it's phenomenal. So that I don't have to diminish, and I don't have to step on LeBron to elevate Jordan. Jordan's resume speaks for itself.
Facts. I like that. I had this conversation. I had a conversation with Landon this morning. And he said, do you think that Shea at this age, right, at this age, has potential to be a top 25 player? Shea. And I said, wow, I didn't think about that, because Shea is what, 27?
26, 27, yeah, somewhere along there.
26, 27, right? And with 2 MVPs, and if he wins 2 championships, right? Well, the 2 championships would mean that he would already have more rings than Isaiah Thomas, who I hold in very high regards, right? And I explained to him that, you got to understand that outside of Dirk's ring, the 1 ring, I think that Isaiah Thomas's run, the 2 championships with the Detroit Pistons, is probably the second most difficult rings chase, because he beat all of them in their primes, all right, to get them rings. And I think that that's something to be said. But I think that Shea being 20-something years old, if he win 2 rings, 2 MVPs, and he still got 7 more good years of his prime, right? At least 7 the way he plays. And so I'm just thinking, like, you're just after that point, it's almost like I look at him like he would be like the Pat Mahomes of the NBA, bro. Where Pat Mahomes was so great so early on, got the accolades so early on that at this point everything else is icing on the cake to me, though. He's a Hall of Famer in 7 years, though, bro. And then it's just a matter of saying top 25. Do he got potential? Yeah, he got potential to be a top 25 player. I think that if he wins 2 championships, I would honestly say you can argue, bro, that his 2 championships are shinier. They probably mean a little bit more to me than Kevin Durant's. So I might be inclined to even put him over KD.
I mean, because he's leading the team. It's not like he went and joined another team and had, Steph Curry. I would compare Steph Curry's rings to Shea's because
Sure.
they were homegrown. They did it the right way. We brought in Alex Caruso and Hart, but we didn't bring in I don't
Anthony
know.
Edwards.
Right. So I'm there. It's interesting because New York won the play-in tournament this year by beating San Antonio, and now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. What does that say about this team, bro?
About the Knicks?
Yeah.
Or about the Spurs?
The Knicks. The Knicks beat the Knicks. No. We already know you don't like the Knicks. I'm going
to set aside. So I'm going to set my hate for them aside. I'm going to try to be.
Yeah, they won the play-in tournament, and now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
I mean, the NBA Finals.
I think that here's the thing about it. Part of me feels like I heard Jason Williams say this morning that I thought I haven't heard anything more fitting. Sometimes the season, the year choose you. You don't choose the year, right? And by that, I'm saying you got a young Hawks team. This is their path. You got a young Hawks team. You didn't have to be the number 1 seed either, right? You didn't have to be the number 1 seed to get this. So you've got a young Hawks team, right? Then you went through the Boston Celtics without Jason Tatum. And then now you're going against the Cavs with James Harden, right? And granted, they did exactly the absolute best that you could expect, that you would sweep and get everybody up out of there, though, right? And they did that. Can't take that away from them, though, man. But I think that by them getting to the finals, though, bro, if they already beat the Spurs, they got to feel confident on some level that they can. And I do it again. I think that these Spurs, though, they feel a little different to me, though, bro. Like these Spurs seem like they're young, but they still feel like they got something to prove. It feels like the Spurs to me are basically saying, Charlie, I know you said that the young boys got to take their lumps, but we trying to get this one right now, though, bro. And so I think what's crazy about it is that the Thunder win, I think the Thunders can whip the Knicks. But I think that if the Spurs win, I think that the Knicks can beat the Spurs for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I think that Karl Anthony Towns can shoot it. And I think that he can take it off the dribble. And I think that would force a little bit more pressure on Wemby on the ball, right? Whereas to Chet's so slim and so slightly built that he isn't like that much of a threat to take it off the dribble. He's been like catching and shooting, catching the oops, and that's it, though, man. And then Hart, and why he had a few more buckets this past game than what he traditionally has.
Yeah,
he's never the threat.
Game 8.
Yeah, he never is really.
You're talking. I'm thinking Hart. You talking about Josh Hart?
Yes, but I'm thinking like I think that in the end though, bro, I think that I think that Carl Anthony Towns, not that it's a matchup nightmare, but I
Mhm.
think that because he can shoot it and he is willing to drive with the ball and he is bigger than weight wise than Wimby, I can see that being a problem that they haven't faced yet in the West.
This is true. Uh, anything else basketball wise?
No, but I hate the Knicks though, bro, so
I
bad.
know you do.
Oh, did listen. So this was funny. Did you see the all NBA team this year?
Yeah, I did. I glanced at it. I wasn't like enthralled
Yeah.
with it.
And you know what I think is crazy though. I think that what is interesting to me is that this is they talk about we were talking about Kevin Durant. And I think that this is like Kevin Durant kind of set the record, set a new kind of record. When you think about how good Kevin Durant, we always talk about LeBron James being old and being great still, right? I
Mhm.
think that Kevin Durant has the same, you could say kind of he has his own argument for that because Kevin Durant has made the all NBA team now with every team that he's been on. So you think it's like 5 teams he's played for. Was it OKC, Golden State, the Brooklyn Nets, the Suns, and Houston. He's made the all NBA with 5 different teams, though, bro. And he's the only player in NBA history to do that, though. Incredible, incredible thing about him, though, man.
Um, yeah, that is pretty incredible, man. And it's just like looking at everybody that made it. You know, those have been the top guys all year. I mean, and some of them people even conversations of other awards. So, um, and shoot, you look at like who like the Spurs and this and the the Thunder had a couple of people on there. So yeah, it's
I think next year, listen, I think next year, I was telling Landon this again. I think that Stephon Castle is gonna be an all-star next season.
I do
I
too.
think that he's gonna take the next step up to where I think that he's going to average at a minimum of 20 points. And I think that granted, he's going to benefit highly off of Wimby also taking that next step up. But I think that now I think he's really getting how to take advantage of his shots and his spots with Wimby on the court and when he's not. And I think that he's going to make the All-Star team next year. What I do think is interesting. Had the conversation with my boy Cinematic on this one. He was almost hopeful that Jalen Duren didn't make the All NBA third team
Mhm.
because now he qualifies for the Supermax. I mean, it's less money for you to go out and get somebody else and yada yada yada, though, right? But there were a lot of guys that people was like, "Hey, man, this third team looked kind of suspect, right?" And it was just because it was a lot of those guys who were within 5 years, play though, man. So like Jalen Johnson, for example, for the Hawks, got it. But it's like a couple of when you look at that third team, it's like, you know what? Y'all kind of benefited from Luca being down for a good part of the year. Jason Tatum being down. So I was like, yo, there was a lot of guys that they just, this year was a weird year for the NBA. And that's why I was saying that things are lining up for the Knicks that this could be that one silver bullet year, though, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, man, I just hope these Thunder boys can show up tonight and get us back to the finals. I think this is the hardest test for them as the Spurs. We kind of said that earlier on in the year, just with how the season went for us with the Spurs going 4-1. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Look, man, let's jump into this Kevin Hart conversation everybody's having. And I actually watched Kevin address it himself because he had a Breakfast Club interview. But so they did the roast of Kevin Hart, and people had things to say from top to bottom, whether it was who was on the dais, uh, who were the actual roasters, the jokes that came out, who should be offended by what, this, that, and the other. Before we even jump into what everybody else said, let's just I'm gonna talk to you first. What did you feel about, because the controversy is mostly about Tony Hinchcliffe and the the joke about George Floyd, and then Shane Gillis, they just said he was just overall racist. So what was your thoughts of the roast?
Okay. So I'm admittedly biased on this one because I the last roast I saw was the greatest roast of all time with Tom Brady. And the fact that Tom Brady came out there, it had me almost thinking like this might be epic. It might not be Tom Brady, but it's gonna be the next best thing. And I think that here's the thing that's crazy about it. I understand that some of the roasters that he picked, it's what they do. They seem like they are known. Their content, they're mainly known. They're all their clicks, the majority of the clicks come from that. So when he picked out your dude who had said the George Floyd, I've seen him on roast. The guy Big J, I've seen him on roast. There's some people who are just like staples on roast, though, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you though, man. I just wasn't that blown away by the actual roasters. Like, let's just say let's say that your guy. I can't think of his name. I keep calling him your boy because I know you've not you've
Kill
been an
Tony.
advocate for
Call
him.
him Kill Tony.
Yeah,
I don't advocate for him. I just
yeah, I'm
my
not saying you just
what
you
I'm
know
saying
his
is
art.
this. I know his art because I love that Kevin Hart said this today. Tony Hinchcliffe roast everybody. I don't care what your race is. That's his brand of comedy. Like, yeah.
So with that being said, I think that I don't really this is what I think. I think that overall, what this roast did was confirm almost everything that Cat Williams actually said about Kevin Hart, right? From the standpoint of this, I didn't particularly like the roasters, but I understand that Kevin Hart wanted to have some diversity amongst roasters, right? And I also feel like the one thing that I think that is interesting is that Cat Williams, you and I've talked about this in the past, because Kevin Hart is such a brand in himself that he always has to also be very mindful and aware of his business
And partner.
partners and partnerships and everything like that. I get that completely, right? But I think that when Cat Williams basically calls that out, right? And then you let's say at the end of it, you say your little rebuttals, and then you end it by shouting out your partners. It's just like, bro, like what the hell? But about the roasters in general, I love the fact that you want to say no. We want to give complete freedom of speech. I just didn't think that. What's your guy's name again?
Kill Tony.
Gil Tony.
Kill
I
Tony.
just
Kill Tony.
Kill. Okay, I didn't think that Kill Tony's jokes were that funny, and I think that the reason why is that I think that he got up there and he was just banging them out, banging them out, banging them out, and maybe he had such a small window that if he would have may have let him marinate some, I would have understood. I would have liked it a little bit more. But overall, I think that this is the thing. The problem that I have with when people have roast and they bring up race and roast is that the race parts are references from outdated stereotypes, right? It's like, okay, well, we ain't even talking about like at least your boy Kill Tony brought up the George Floyd that was current. But the tropes that they actually toss out there in their jokes as the basis of their race jokes about black people, right? It just I feel like they're old, they're outdated. And I always say this: a good race joke makes everybody laugh, even the people who are of that race. And so I've seen Gary Owens give a good race joke, right? I've seen a lot of people say some things that I laugh at about. I wasn't that blown away by the you so black kind of thing. That's it's just it's old though, bro. So that part was it made it kind of whack to me though, bro. And so overall, based off of the Tom Brady, it just as my rule of thumb for a great roast, that was whack. I mean, not gonna say it's whack. It was mid, bro. It was like out of a scale of 1 to 5, it was like a 3.
Okay. So it's not even like, okay, so the boy Jay or what Super J or whatever his name was, I never saw him before. The one that told the story about Kevin giving him the $10,000.
Yeah.
So I've never heard him before, but I also know what a roast is. This ain't my first roast. I've seen the Justin Bieber
Huh.
roast. I've seen the Charlie Sheen roast. I've seen, you know, I've seen the Bruce Willis roast. I've seen
Charlie Sheen's roast. Charlie Sheen's roast is up there. It was the best one I had seen before Tom Brady.
right. So all I'm saying is all of those roasts, the point is to say stuff to make you cringe. It's dark humor comedy. It's so my thing is that if you're watching it with the understanding that the jokes are supposed to make you feel good, you already in the wrong spot. Like you are watching a roast, and again, there's plenty of references before the Kevin Hart roast to set the stage for what roasts are. Now, as far as Kevin and his brands, I don't have an issue with him acknowledging his brands or even being mindful of his brands because he is at work. It's just like I can't post things on Facebook the way that I want to because of my brand partner in who I
Sure.
work for.
But
So
don't tell me, y'all want a real one? Y'all gonna get a real one. No, we got what
no,
we
no,
got. This is
no,
it. We
no,
got
no.
what I think
He
people's
explained that
issues are
too.
with him.
No, he explained that too. And he explained that too. What he said was there are certain things that he said in that roast that he normally doesn't say in public that he tip so like using certain racial terms that he used. He doesn't say them in public, right? There's certain vernacular that he uses in when he's doing business stuff that he does. So at that roast, he let his brand partners know, look, I'm letting the N word fly. I'm letting the C word fly. I'm letting, all of these words, I'm doing this. So he was more authentic. See, people wanted the brand safe Kevin Hart when he went further. And that's the thing. It's like that what we're having a conversation about is what I'm talking about. Everybody had an issue with something. But at the end of the day, people watched it and people had conversations about it. So it's a
Not
success.
enough though, bro. That's not enough for me. And I
May
understand
not be
what you're
enough for
saying, and
you.
everything that you're saying is very true, and you are 100% right on that. But that's not enough for me. It's like to me, what I think this is though, bro. This is what I think. This is gonna sound. This is gonna sound. You would know what I mean by this, but I think that some people look at Kevin Hart and they remember what Kevin Hart's origins was, and I understand that you grow, but I think that also my thing is that it feels like he got to where he's now white people funny, right? And he stuck to that to me. And I think that to me, it's like, all right, you know what, that's cool, but it's not at the same time. Like, yeah, the jokes, it ain't, I haven't like been crying, laughing at a Kevin Hart in some time. And I thought that this might have been one of those opportunities to give you that. And it just wasn't though, man. And I just think that I don't know, bro. It's like
That's your opinion because see, in my book, Kevin Hart had one special that was whack, and that was the one he did during COVID. This isn't a special. This is a roast. So
yeah,
but you
he gave the rebuttal.
you
He gave like a
no,
15
no,
minute.
no, you literally just said you expected a to be laughing over the thing funny like a special. This is the first roast that Kevin has been the roasted. Other than roast, he's been either on the panel or he's been a host. So to compare his last special to a roast that's like trying to compare an album from you and a mixtape. Because my thing is that corporate Charlie and the Charlie that I know are two different people, and you have to be.
I guess my thing is this though, man. I understand that. I guess it being a roast aside, when you set it up, this what y'all wanted, this what y'all gonna get. And I
Right.
don't get
So he was more
throw
raw
the
than
whole
what
thing
he
away.
ever was.
I don't think so. It was maybe. I'm just saying that I think I found him. This is the thing that's crazy to me. I thought that a lot of the panel people, the kill Tony, like I thought that it was like I understood. Like he did have some stuff that had a little sting to it, kind of mid. Shane Gillis, kind of mid. I've heard them be funnier, right? To me, here's the crazy part about it. Cheryl Underwood, best part of the whole entire thing to me, though, right? Chelsea Handler, second best part of it. His boy Naheem, third best part. I think that to me is where it stopped at. But everything
Right.
else,
But here's the
this
thing.
was
I don't
weird to
have an
me.
issue with you not liking what you heard. I don't have an issue with that. The part that was brought up on, the most controversial thing was the jokes said. And here's the thing. I'm not even mad at anybody who was offended or whatever. You allowed to, whenever somebody does art, you are allowed to feel the way you want to feel about it. Just like when we critique the Drake album or any other album that's come out or any art that comes out. My thing is that people that is just like this overly offended, like comedy isn't supposed to be different. And because the people that had issue with the George Floyd joke, they ain't saying nothing about the Charlie Kirk. They ain't saying nothing about them bringing up Kevin Hart, dead mama and dead dad. Like they didn't keep the same energy.
I think that the reason for that, though, man, is that I think that, like, to me, this is what I'm saying. To me, I think that when Kevin Hart's dad had died and the jokes about his dad, he laughed at all of those jokes. And that made it that made it where it was like, oh, this is an acceptable thing. Some of the ones and I honestly believe that the jokes about his dad were funny. I just don't think there was a lot of whiffs to me. A lot of them that I don't think, like, here's what I think. Here's what I mean. Let me tell you what I think is a big whiff. Okay. I thought that Regina Hall's part. I absolutely love her though, bro. I think she's so cold to me. That guy, she is fine. And I knew it just wasn't all of that funny to me. And then when my girl Tiana, also fine, bro, she is fine. And I could have just missed out the whole
Right.
section though, but the whole
But
section.
but I'm cool. But see, that's the thing.
A lot of duds in
Not
there, bro.
finding things funny is okay. What I'm saying is keep the same energy if you want to be offended by something. That's all I'm saying. If you listen, just because these artists put it out there, if it ain't funny, it's not funny. Just don't laugh, move on. But what I'm saying
Yeah.
is if you're gonna have an issue with the George Floyd joke, then have the same issue with Charlie Kirk. Have the same issue with this. Have the same like you.
I didn't have an issue with the joke.
Me
I can
neither.
understand if you're a family member and
Yes.
you're like, yo, I got a problem. I understand that. But
Yes.
what I'm also saying, like, this is my thing. If Pete Davidson got up there and let these people talk about his dead daddy who died in 9/11, and like I'm saying, like, come on, man. Like, but even then, I didn't think that the jokes were that funny about
But
Pete
that's what I'm
Davidson.
saying. I think you're in bounds to just not find it funny. It's again,
Yes,
that's the hit or miss about art in general. That's just like saying
true.
I ain't like but 5 songs on the Drake album. That's okay to say. But
Yes.
but what I'm saying is the nitpicky part that I had the issue with the people because it's like, bro, this is what this is. There's plenty of examples of what roast are. So now I get it. Kevin Hart is a huge entertainer, and maybe this is somebody's first time wanting to watch a roast because it's Kevin Hart.
Hmm.
But again, people are allowed to feel the way they want to feel. At the end of the day, it's still making headlines for the conversation alone.
Maybe, man. But if that's what he wanted, mission accomplished. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
as a fan of him,
it
and
wasn't
as a
as good as
fan
the
of
Tom Brady
comedy.
roast for sure.
No, was not as good as the Tom Brady one. But I think that it's just like I thought that even then, like I thought that the Cat Williams one, it was cool, but it wasn't. I wasn't that. It was just the shock value of Cat Williams being up there. That was enough. His presence was enough. But I think that it's I just like I've said I was more disappointed because again I saw a great roast with Tom Brady and I just thought that the jokes would be funnier and I just didn't find the and that's the thing about it. I understand that it's a roast and there's dark humor involved with it. I didn't get the humor part out of it. Out of most of it, 70% of it I didn't get.
Yeah, I had a good time watching it. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the best one, but I'm still such a fan of Kevin Hart. I like what he attempted to do. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I would have preferred other comedians I would have chosen, but at the same time, like he said too, some of the people wouldn't have been able to take the response back. And so,
See, I that's where I think that he went wrong to me is because I think that it was very much the people. Like I think he could have had better people.
we don't know
Like I
that.
didn't know what
We
Draymond
don't know
Green
that.
was.
We
Well,
don't know
okay,
that.
that's
'Cause
just
what I'm saying, is
was
this: we would have preferred. If we would have gotten to pick the panel, we would have wanted to see Jamie Foxx. We would have wanted to see Dave Chappelle. We would have wanted to see
you know who I would have
Gary
wanted to
Owen.
see? I would have wanted to even see Mike Epps on that kind of setting.
Yeah, I would have wanted to see Tiffany Haddish. That's what I'm saying. But I don't know what these people's schedules were as to why they didn't show up. That's what I'm saying. We don't know that. And the thing is, again, Kevin also has a brand partner in Netflix. And all of those people on that stage were involved with Netflix, who I would have loved to see on there. I would have loved to see Andrew Schultz on there, but Andrew Schultz is more of that's a Charlemagne guy. You know what I'm saying? Kevin knows Andrew, but that's not like one of his boys. Like I said, if anything, I would have thought Gary Owen would have been on there, but shoot, Netflix don't even rock with Gary Owen.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I said,
You know
I'm
who I
not mad
really
at
would
it,
have loved
but
to
I
be on there?
am.
You know who I really would have loved to be on there? Who would have killed? Nate Jackson.
I think I saw him in the crowd too.
Yeah, he was there, but I'm saying up on
Yeah.
the panel.
Yeah, yeah. I think Nate Jackson. I think that I think Earthquake would have did good. I think Bruce would have did good. I think that Lavelle Crawford would have killed it.
Faison would have killed.
Man.
He would have.
Yeah. I think Faison's kind of corny personally.
All right, bro. We got one other topic to broach, bro.
What we got?
Set up this. I play a doctor on TV.
Oh my God. Okay, so listen, man. One of the things that's been like a just been popping up here over the last, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years since like COVID, basically, though, man. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She has basically been everywhere, everywhere you can see her. She has become like a social media professional doctor. And then her credentials came into question. She got up on the Breakfast Club recently and said, hey, she went to this college and she said that she don't got a copy of her degree no more. She lost it. The school done shut down, whatever, right?
No. She said she doesn't have her official transcripts from the school.
She doesn't have her official transcript.
Right, she only has the ones that she downloaded from the portal. She doesn't have the official.
Everybody say, listen, everybody say, well, where's the actual degree then? Right? You got your actual degree.
Yeah.
I got mine. I know where mine is right now, right? And so people are saying, hey, well, she's going through her explanation of whether or not she actually is an accredited doctor, and where can we read your published dissertation? She doesn't have an answer for that, though, bro. Which makes you believe this girl might not be a doctor after all. Now, here's what I think is interesting. You know me, I'm on TikTok, and I see a girl who says, no, she did go to that school. She went to the school, but listen, I'm going to show you. I got my degree. Here go mine. Now, the girl said the school did close, just like she said. But she said, we had some classes together. And she said one of the things that, Cheyenne Bryant was basically saying is that, hey, she was calling herself a doctor before then. She came into classes, the doctor was in, and maybe I said, maybe she's trying to speak it into existence. Maybe she walking it through though, man. And she was like, no. She said, I don't know that. She said, I know that you can get your transcripts. Whatever she said that you can't get, she said, no, you can get your copy of this transcript. She said, I got this job where I had to get it. I got mine. Boom. And more than anything, I got my physical copy of my degree. And she is right that the school did close. But she was like, I know that we went to the same school. What I don't know is that she actually finished on up, though, man, because I have my dissertation. I can tell you exactly what it is, though, man. And now everybody is thinking like, well, why the hell are you walking around as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? And what makes what your information that you're given, which seems very valid, what makes it so reliable, source wise? What training now did you have on this, though, bro?
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, if a person chooses to use her services, they are choosing her services. So that's just like, I don't have a degree in mixing and mastering music, but do I know what I'm talking about, or do I know what I'm doing? So if somebody chooses to use me, they getting what they pay for. So if you want to become a client of hers, then you have the right to request her documentation. And if she chooses not to provide it and you still choose to use her services, that's on you.
Well, a doctor, and especially clinical psychology, requires you to have a certification. It is a state certification. So people are saying, where is the state certifications? Right? And she can't produce that. And and it seemed like I saw the interview for it, and she just basically made it seem like y'all just hating on me because I'm fine and I'm out here successful and I'm out here doing exactly what I want to do and blah 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 blah. And listen, to her point, very fine, bro. That is one fine woman though, bro. But at the same time, though, man, my problem with that is that again, it'd be one thing if you saying you like Dr. Dre. Nobody asks Dr. Dre, hey man, well, what college did you get your degree from, Dr. Dre? But at the same time, are you saying you're a doctor because what you're doing is doctoring? You know what I'm saying? It's like you might be an herbalist, right? But you might not be a doctor. But if you're in a rainforest and you're the only person there, you might be the doctor for the town. Like, tell me why should we call you a doctor? Something that's a very coveted title, though, bro, with no credentials.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, she's in a position to where it's like, I am not gonna prove myself to anyone. She has the right to say that. But you also, when she has the right to say it, there's consequences that come with that. Then, hey, you can take your services somewhere else. The thing is that, like you said, most people, all people who have a doctorate under them, you can look up their dissertation and be able to see where their sources are, what they wrote about, and see the expertise that they are claiming. So if she is not going to produce it, that's why she doesn't have certain jobs that she was trying to apply to, because that's where she needed. That's what she needed. The transcripts was for a position she was trying to fill. Because she says, according to her, all she got to do is go retake this test. Because she said if she would have, when she went to the financial aid office and asked them for X, Y, and Z, they said, look, we can refund you your money, but then that means all the classes that you took are null and void because we refunded you, and so it doesn't, nothing counts. But the way she is claiming it now, that all she would have to do is just retake the test.
Well, she got to take it at another school, apparently.
Yeah, at another school, but she would just have to pay the fee, whatever it is, to retake the test, and then, So I don't,
Listen,
I don't know.
bro.
I ain't hating on the
I
girl.
honestly listen. I honestly believe, man. I honestly believe, bro, that she has been getting by of getting by for as far as possible, man, off of pretty girl privilege, bro. Where she is just listen. I think that she is so fine and could talk so well, though, bro, that you got to be like, dog, she got to be telling the truth, though, man. And nobody ever questioned it until the end, though, bro.
Right.
It's wild. I like this. I do like her. I This is the wild part about it is because I do like her presence in that space,
Mhm.
that black media space. I like her in the Cam Newton conversations, right? I like her on Breakfast Club. I like her with the Nick Cannon. I like her in all things black media in that space. It almost makes me just kind of like, all right, nah, you fell for the okie doke.
Um, like I said, man, people got choices, bro, and she's trying to hang out in that celebrity space. So if them celebrities want to go, because you think about all these celebrities that got these honorary doctorates from these schools, right?
Chris Brown just got one.
That's what I know. They say Trick Daddy got one too, and Trina.
Listen, bro, why haven't nobody approached us about getting honor? I'm gonna hang that thing up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hang it up. It's going up, bro.
yeah.
Why haven't nobody reached out to us about getting us? We can go ahead and give some schools commencement speech, though, bro. Takes
Hey,
5 minutes or less.
Texas can show send me one, bro.
If Texas said, "Hey, we want y'all to come up here and give our commencement speech," though, bro, we there, Texas. If you see this, we are there. We are there next year, and we will gladly go ahead and get that honorary degree.
Absolutely, would be there. Look, man, before we get off here, we gotta talk about one more thing. One more thing. This one quick. Because it was as quick as the fight was. Ray J getting knocked out.
See, see, and he got knocked out by super hot fire too, though, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, bro. Okay, so you know how when people, sometimes people talk, right? And you say, "Oh, I would have knocked his ass out," right? Or I
Yeah.
would have done this. And I think that you're basing that off of what you think at max capacity that you have to give. Whatever you have, whatever you're fully capable of, that you're fully able to knock somebody out, that you could in your best swing, though, right? But it's one of those things that where you might think you can, bro. You might think you can, and maybe against the right person, you can. But at the same time, for somebody who also is just as prepared, you might look like Ray J, though, bro. I mean, listen, for starters, Ray J look. Did he say he was gonna die?
That's
He
what
said he
people
only
were
had a
saying.
couple of weeks to
Yeah,
live.
he said he was talking about. I think somebody said he's supposed to get a Halter monitor and everything else. Like his heart was giving out. Yeah, but at the same time though, Ray J do be trolling. He has come out and openly said that he be trolling.
Bro, listen, man. I get that he be trolling. How you gonna troll this though?
Oh, that's all over the internet,
Because
bro.
you out here getting your head lumped up, looking like Martin when he fought Hitman Tommy Hearns in 4K out here though, bro. And this is my thing though, bro. It's just like I don't know, man. Like it's just, and then you got knocked out by super high fire though, bro. And I'm not saying super high fire just don't got hands, but I'm just saying I don't think a super high fire when I think of who's gonna go out there and whip anybody, bro. He tough guy. Like nah, bro. Like
Yeah,
come
but
on, man.
he beat up an R&B singer that thought he was something different.
Yeah, but see, I've heard stuff like R&B. See, maybe this is I heard something where Brandy was telling a story some time ago, man, that before like Ray J put out One Wish though, man, that he was out there really in them streets and he was getting in shootouts and everything. And maybe he was getting shootouts, but it wasn't into fisticuffs.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't in fist fights though, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, bro. It looks bad, bro. It looked bad. Him getting knocked out. He out here badly built out there doing it though, bro. I mean, it literally looked like when you get a couple of the old uncles out here at the cookout, they didn't had a couple of too much to drinks, and they out here they got into a scuffle
I
because they talking about something that happened 20 years ago, man.
He might have fared better if they had on boxing gloves, but the fact that they had the UFC gloves on, Yeah.
Yeah, but see, some people think that the UFC gloves make it look quicker. You know what I'm saying? Like they lighter weight, so boom, you straight. You think you can do more
That's
damage.
what I'm saying. If they would have had like boxing gloves on, he would have lasted longer. It would have been able to absorb some of that. When you got them UFC gloves on, that ain't much padding, bro. That's why people in UFC, if they make it out of the first round, they lucky. Yeah.
Wow.
Look, man, we are the Slash Brothers. We done kept y'all a little bit longer, but it's all good. It's from the ATL to OKC. We are the Slash Brothers. Thank y'all for joining us. Everybody that popped on from YouTube, from Twitch, from Facebook. Yo.
Fun size Nigerian queen.
Yes, love the name. Hey, man, we'll see y'all next time, bro. We the Slash Brothers.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig it,
of all time.
sucker?